Hey guys, NeusNexus here, about to do another interview with a gamer, this time with Piko. Say hi, Piko.
Why, hello everyone.
Hello. Now then,
Hi.
it's kind of nice to finally get another interview going because it's I've been a little bit since I actually recorded one. So, Piko, tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's the thing about myself? You know, I'm a chatty guy. I like to make some interesting video content with editings and even play some interesting video games, and I have a great time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to add before I cut back in?
For the most part, you know, I'm really social to everybody. You know, I treat everybody like neighbors, honestly. I don't feel like anybody could be, well, how can I say this? Like, everyone is not really kind of special. We're all the same and that sort of thing, and I treat everybody the same way as being neighbors, and it's always fun to really talk with interesting strangers, and, you know, for someone that, like you and I, know each other for almost a couple months, which is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I fully agree with that because... especially when you're doing YouTube and you're doing a lot of social things like streaming, for example, you find that you tend to meet different people, and you kind of have, your personality kind of ties out to that. So if you're a type of person who kind of reaches out to people and you want to talk to people and kind of get to know them a little bit and kind of enjoy their company, it's a really good thing to do, right?
Oh, it's very great for the most in the community, because, you know, I would hate to mention, and sometimes I can always respect for a few people that don't want to talk too much with the audience and want to be fully focused on it. But sometimes it's always okay to let people know that, hey, I'm sorry I'm not chatting or anything. I'm totally focusing on this. And people will totally respect that and totally understand, like, yeah, we kind of see you're busy, but hopefully you can beat this guy and then we could talk. But yeah, that's where I'm thinking to that line for most streamers that were very busy. But like, for me, I mean, of course I would totally talk all the way during games, but sometimes I always have to learn one rule. Never talk during cutscenes that you haven't seen. So sometimes I have to make sure not to do that. If I do it, I'll be the clumsy guy. But, I mean, I just want to make sure for people that haven't seen the game, or, you know, like, have already seen it, well, that's where I want to balance between let people hear the game and then, like, join along on this adventure.
So yeah, what you do is you try to do kind of a balance where you're trying to respect a certain degree the people who have seen it and the people who haven't seen it. And so, like, and as yourself, you're like, you haven't seen something, a cutscene or something like that, you want to enjoy it as much as everybody else does. So you kind of give that respect out to everybody else and yourself. So yeah.
That's exactly what I was saying. And especially, you know, everybody loves to tag along the adventure, and that's where I want to invite people. And of course, everybody is more welcome to join the adventures during this fun time. And, you know, and of course, some crazy wackiness, depending on whatever games there's out there to try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we learned a little bit about you. Now we're gonna actually learn more about you, but I started asking questions.
Throw away on those questions.
Okay, so what got you into gaming?
What got me into gaming? Well, it was back when I was very young. I would say for the most of the people that mostly say this, that I'm a 90s kid. I didn't have much games at the time, but until in the late 90s, my parents has actually purchased, well, the first one was a Sega Genesis, and I have never basically played it. Or, you know, I was curious young kid, because I had no idea what this is. And then once my father have turned on the console, and I just looked at it, and I'm just like, I was like blown in my mind, like any other young kid, just never seen it before and just really experienced. But in short, I would say I have been discovered for the very first console was Sega Genesis. My apologies on that mistitled, because I don't want to be that little oopsie guy. But that's where I started from playing. And then once I got really interested in playing games, and that's when my parents decided to give me another surprise. And I was very curious over this surprise. And suddenly, out of the bloom, Nintendo 64 just came out of my face. And I was just so excited little boy. And just like, can I play it now? No. I would. You don't want to see a grown man dressing up in a little boy suit and just like, can I play it now?
Oh, the mental images right there, right now.
Yeah, I don't encourage anyone to image that, but I mean, I would totally just throw that silliness just right there, just have a good time. But
oh my,
yeah. So Nintendo 64 really got me really hyped and very happy, and I would say the most favorite game in my childhood still remains. I would never change. Was Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Oh, thank you, sweet Jesus.
Thank you, sweet Jesus. I am very surprised you're praised. You're blessed that I would be. Am I the only one that answered that my favorite, the most top game that I would never change is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time?
You're the first person to actually mention the 64, and you're the first person to mention that game out direct. So congratulations to you, sir. You are the first one doing these interviews. This is number 10. It's a record. There before. It's like... But I tell you, when you started talking about the N64 and Ocarina of Time, you were pulling at my heartstrings, because that is a near dear thing to my heart. I absolutely adore Legend of Zelda games. And that game in particular, because of how many hours I sunk into that as a kid. Because I'm a 90s kid too, and I'm just like, oh my god, I loved it. I loved it to death, so I completely understand.
Well, I'm very, very glad for the understanding of another path of yourself from the 90s kid to really played it. And for the extra specialty, I will tell you that was actually the first Nintendo game, well, I mean, a Nintendo 64 game of Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. So that's when I like playing it nonstop, and I had never thought to play any other games besides playing Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. And believe it or not, I think I really sticked into that game for almost close to maybe 2 months or 3 months during that time, and that was a long thing. And that's when I'm like kind of feeling like, is there any other games for Nintendo 64? But luckily enough, I kind of move a little bit on, but I'm still like reaching out my hand. I'm just like, I can't leave you, Nintendo. I can't leave you, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I can't leave you.
You can't leave me. Yes, but no. But I have to agree. It's just like I sunk months into that too. It was just the first time when I actually played that. It was just the idea of kind of playing this game where I could just go explore, and I have to gather items and do dungeons and do puzzles. It really was the creative thing that really kind of brought me into it, because it's like there's a challenge there that you have to be mentally prepared to do. And later on, you just like, yeah, that was fun, and you want to play another one, the new one that come out. The nostalgia feel that gets from it, right?
Oh yeah,
I'll tell you. Oh yeah, because if I could, I'd be playing the new Zelda on the Switch if I had one. Oh. Oh.
Well, I know. There's. Well, I think I saw it. Maybe I was blind, but I might have to look back. I think there was some special offering for Nintendo Switch for a little discount on Amazon. But I could be wrong. I wish there was a discount on Nintendo Switch, because honestly, I wanted to get my hands on the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wilds, because people say they love it. Others had some concern during this story and that sort of thing. To me, though, I feel like that game that they build up, I feel like they actually achieved something so good, and allowing us, the gamers, to have a great time of traveling the long distance to that game. Because honestly, if you can remember like some other particular games, they were more like random teleports. And of course, it's like, that felt short to me. That felt like really short. But when this new game came out, that's when I'm like, oh my god, they just revealed it. They just revealed it as a giant world that doesn't need no teleport. Well, I mean, besides doors, I mean, I can't. Oh, my apologies of the sound. There's a fire truck coming through.
No worries, believe me. There's like as we were just talking at the beginning of this, background noises will come in, so I can do my best to edit them out. So don't worry about it. It's all good.
I will learn too much. But yeah, I will say that it brought my interest really well, and especially for Bembries as a Legend of Zelda kid, for the most part.
I agree. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a little bit of channel on that. Let's see, the first thing that kind of catches my eye when I go to your channel is your banner. I'd like to talk a little bit about that. Was that of your own making? Did any interact with other people about it? I just kind of want to hear about it.
Well, if you're particular curious of the banner, like there's some like food stuff on there, and then there's a wooden texture on it that says Piko. Behind that name with the banner and the whole theme is because all that was all related to a lovely a small side dish that comes with a tortilla chips and a pico de gallo. So basically, I love pico de gallo with tortilla chips, and they are good. No, seriously, they're good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just chop little pieces and just like scoot them up like any other dip, and just like have a nice little crunch of tasty of all those cuts. But yeah. So basically, yes, that was the base of it, and that's where I thought it would be hilarious. But this was just a fun part because I didn't really have like a vision of what name common would be best. But when I looked at my side, and yeah, I tilted over my head, and I'm like, I just realized I've been eating like pico de gallo with chips, and I'm like, wait, pico de gallo, Piko. I'm going to name myself Piko. And then I kind of realized the C had before I was thinking of putting like PICO, there was an error path in the way. So there has been a most common jokes that a lot of people did come by, and a lot of people had made some jokes when they come by to my panel, and especially in other gaming as well. Which I will not refer it, but it's relating to a Japanese show that is, I don't want to say in a hateful way, but that's a huge no-no on my side. I don't relate to it. So, so in short words, it wasn't pleasant show. I mean, it was kind of like a very, very odd Japanese show. That is anime. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, there are definitely those out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. But, and I know most people are questioning me and saying, Piko, do you ever feel regret for someone like yourself to name yourself Piko, and then somehow somebody will say, oh, that Piko, that reminds me of that anime show? Honestly, I would say I kind of regret it, but at the same time, I feel like I'm going to deal with it. I think it's not going to be like a major scar or anything. I think I'm just going to laugh all the way until the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, well, see, the thing is like, I have no affiliation with that. I haven't even seen that show or anything like that. I was curious about the name, but I kind of I didn't really attribute it to anything like that. I just kind of attributed it to being kind of like a 4-letter like celebrity name, like Cher or something like that.
Oh, so, that kind of, oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about the Cher part. I mean, Cher's just, Cher's a singer, and she an interesting name, and she's been around. She's a classic singer. I remember her songs.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know, I can't remember all of her songs, but the only one song that's most common is like, I got you baby, da, na, 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 na. That's the only song I know. That's it. So Cher,
yeah.
I'm sorry Cher, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that's fine. No, it's just because they don't have a last name or something like that. They just go by that like 4-letter name, and so when I kind of heard about you and stuff like that, and it's Piko, I'm like, oh okay. And I was like, I didn't attribute to anything like that. I was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I got interested. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm sticking around. Here we go. But I know I had no problem with that as well. Okay. So you kind of, I'm guessing the icon that you use has just been kind of derivative from your banner as well. Because you just
yeah, that's also correct. I will tell you, the reason I was setting it up is because I didn't have much thoughts of what my real actual icon would be. At first, I thought I could probably put my face in there in Photoshop in wooden text and do something crazy, but at the same time, it kind of got really cheesy and just like it didn't brought my interest to it. It'll just be like, oh, somebody decided to put their face on it. It's like, I mean, just like in a bad wood texture. I mean, this is just my thought, my thoughts of, what would be more cool to see, and then and that's when I realized like most people put their first initial letter on their icons, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll just put the P on it. That will just give people will just be like, oh, this guy has the P icon. I'll probably go over and check out this P.
Yeah. Well, and just people are on the comments going, I detect sarcasm. If you seriously do have sarcasm, please type it in the comments. I'll have to laugh. Oh, but no, it's all good. Believe me. I especially find with the different variety of people that I've interviewed is all we have is these little stories that they have with their background and their banner and stuff like that. And they had somebody make it for them, or they gave inspiration for it. And I will have to say, I'm going to quote myself on this. That was the most interesting story to learn about a banner and name and stuff in my interviews so far. So thank you, sir. You made me giggle.
Well, you know what? I have to thank you to invite me. That's because honestly, it's just once you invite this guy like myself, oh man, you're going to have a great time.
I know. Believe me, I'm having an absolute fun time. And I don't know. I was just like, when I'm editing this, I'm like, I don't know what to take out. Oh, that's the fun of editing, right? Just browsing your channel here.
Well,
okay.
Don't browse too deep.
No, I won't go too super deep. I think we're going to talk about some of your series that you do. Now, okay. I noticed that you do some videos, but I noticed as well you also do a bunch of streaming, which I have been lucky to be a part of.
which is great, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I did my first series, but I had to stop it at the very end of the series. There has been a lot of believe it or not, and maybe I'll share this along. When I first had my interest of maybe doing some video editing, I didn't have much thoughts about what to make or what to create. But when I was playing a particular server on Gary's Mod on PC, there was a particular server called Fallout Decay. Fallout Decay was like a random RP universe that was relating to like Fallout 3 game or Fallout 4. So basically, I mean, at first I thought it was like a very legit, like the server itself. And normally a lot of people go crazy on RP, but not in a great way, but very terrifying and terrible. That's when it sparked my idea of recording the whole thing during my gameplay in the server and to clip anything that looked awful and even the most hilarious thing I can even record. And so far, believe it or not, that series was like booming for episode 1 and 2 for that series. But I was developing episode 3 at the very end, but unfortunately, there has been a unfortunately, that's when my computer actually died for discovering that I made a very bad choice of downloading something to support the recording and editing at the same time. So I kind of discovered there was a particular editing program. I thought it was legit. Well, I didn't do my homework very carefully, and that really terminated my computer and basically lost a lot of good clips and editing at the time. And that's when I had to save my budgets and actually to rebuild it, removing parts and putting things back, and to hopefully, in a miracle, after almost a year of rebuilding, and yes, it took me about a year to save all the budgets just to get all the parts to get it back to restore the computer. So so that basically was the first reason I stopped the series. But the other second reason was the server kind of went down the drain very fast. And the reason is that they had insane rules, and few people didn't like it. And few others that actually abused the rules, yeah, that's when like I went bye-bye, because I was actually the most interesting guy in the series. Well, basically in their server community, because I have been developing like signs and GIFs. That's where I started doing the whole series, from creating edits and designing of it. So I wish I could show you some stuff, but they were great. But yeah, they lost that interesting guy. So none people did come back. But I mean, few did come back just to support it. But I didn't come back because, I mean, the server rules were not my interest, because it was insane. It wasn't fun for most people, especially me.
Yeah, that I completely understand, because as you currently know, I am trying to get myself a better PC. So I completely understand the struggle and the parts and stuff. And yes, when I was younger, I did that kind of stuff too, where I've downloaded something and I kind of regretted it. But I completely understand where you were going. You were just trying to be, as maximum efficiency as possible, and you thought this thing would help you, and it went buggered out. So no. So it happens. Right. Yeah, no worries.
Yes. So that's basically about it, and that's when I heard about YouTube Stream, and that's when I decided to do streaming.
Yes. Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to go into my next question about.
Yes.
I do see, because I went to your uploads and I sorted it by date, because when you were talking about the older videos, I currently have them in front of me at the moment. I see that there is you actually streamed off Xbox One at some earlier points.
Yes. So the very first streaming I was doing was which was Resident Evil 7. And for the most part, I was very new to making sure to connect with the Xbox One to my PC. Luckily enough, my PC had Windows 10 and the supporting of using the Xbox app to connect. But it made me wish I purchased a adapter for the Xbox and the PC, and just basically get a better better quality and better fast frame rates. But back then, I didn't have much. The only thing I had was like the lower ratings and lower quality to make the connection faster and people to see the feedback. But the only thing I wish I had a time machine was I didn't had much experience on OBS, and knowing that I have been doing live streaming and running it as 480p. And that was a good part. And of course, they can see me just fine a little bit, just like in a small box with some interesting gizmo on the screen, and knowing that, hey, there's a side showing of something cool. So that's where I just figured focus on the platform design overlay and with the webcam, and then including with your animation title, and figured, let's throw that out as a first project overlay and see how things go. And for the past of the series of Resident Evil, that's when I actually had to change like 4 times of different webcams because I never had a webcam.
Okay.
So in short, I actually borrowed spare webcams from my office, but I didn't let anybody in my office know. So that's when I just did a little sneak and just tested out each one, just like, okay. So this one looks interesting. Right? Nah, I'll probably try out another one. Nah, I'll try another one. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no worries. No, it's just the experimentation, stuff like that. Wow, that's loud back there. It's okay. No, the thing I kind of do right now is I stream primarily off Xbox. And I use the Xbox app, and I use Bandicam to record my main screen, which I'm currently staring at your channel on. And I kind of just use Craig's kind of record the audio, then I kind of mix it in, and then if I need to add any background noise or do any audio editing, I do it that way. So I completely understand the messing around, because I used to have the most terrible webcam, the terrible mic. I know, believe me, I know. But I'm hoping that, I'm hoping to get a Elgato a streaming card, which can do recording as well. So hopefully I'll be able to improve my quality of stuff there. So I feel your struggle. I feel your struggle, and I see your struggle through your videos here.
Yeah, honestly, I will tell you this, that that was actually the very first live stream. So basically, that's how far I was for doing this for the first live stream. And I was very amazed for people to come by, but few people did kind of beat the game and kind of try to give me some hints. But at the same time, I kind of went ahead and just like was thinking to my mind, should I really do it, or should I just pretend oh, hey, thanks for letting me know. I would like to maybe discover it myself and that sort of thing. And that's when, at the very beginning, I was like, you know what? If he or she was trying to give me a special hint to get, then I would be more welcome and kindly to accept.
Oh yeah.
So that's when I decided, for the most part, is that, and I'll tell you this, I respect for most people that really want to help others to really get some really goodies to really pass the game and not to really get struggled. I can really understand that. I really do. But at the same time, a few people were coming back to me because I didn't give them any hates or any harsh saying, hey, leave me be. I want to do this myself and that sort of thing. No, I never did that. No. But believe it or not, I somehow on Bloom just really turned things around, and just people were just like, wow, you're just the kindest dude that will just accept it and just just really going for it. I'm like, yeah. Oh
yeah, and that's the thing too, is just especially I'm guilty of this. I don't know, I watch your Evil Within stuff, and when you see you're struggling for a few minutes or something like that, I'm trying to withhold myself, and I'm like, oh, the hell? Well, I don't want to ruin it for him, and I'm just like,
well, I will tell you this, dude, is that no, I would tell you this. I really appreciate it if there's something that I was very concerned and that sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that. It even helped me on one particular at the final end of the DLC. So, which we do you want to explain about the JoJo?
JoJo. Okay, which part are we talking? Executioner?
We're not going to talk about anime JoJo. So anime JoJo is off the table, but AKA Joseph from Evil Within.
Oh yes. Oh, I know what you meant. I know. I was more, yes, the JoJo. I'm the one. Sorry, Persphonics. I'm sorry. It's okay. I know. No, I'm just trying to think of exactly, are we talking main game, or are we talking Executioner DLC? I'm just trying
I would say maybe just like a little connection between the main and then at the very end of the DLC, because and you see how much I rant about JoJo, how much I just really dislike the character all the way.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
And the reason I disliked the character was how much the storyline of his character development, of, you know, that he wants to get his glasses, and I'm like, my brain was dead silent, and I think my brain cells was about to fall off out of nowhere because of that, and I'm just like, who developed this character? Who wants their glasses back from a giant beast that's about to kill us all, and all you want is the glasses just to make you feel normal? Get out of here!
Yeah, that was kind of the thing for it. But yeah, basically what Piko's kind of holding at is his character doesn't really seem like well thought out, because yeah, he does try to go for the glasses like that, and also he is a terrible aide with an axe. Absolute terrible.
Actually, he did a terrible job with the axe, and good thing I said my quote, "You had one job."
You had one job, yes.
You had one job.
Yes. And kind of tying it into what he was talking about, see, with the DLC, in the main game, especially I noticed during your streams, a lot of people were like, yeah, he's going to turn out to be a villain. He's going to turn out to be a villain. And they're just like, and it's just like, oh, yeah, he wears the gloves. Yeah, he's an evil villain and stuff like that. And then when he dies, essentially, everybody's like, no, especially for Symphonix. She's like, oh no. It's like, JoJo, no. and of
course, Piko silently just smiles and laughing, just like, yeah. But
yeah,
I know that was my feeling. I know a few other people, when they saw my little my body language with JoJo, once he's trying to join with me, I'm like, just die already. Just come on, just die already.
Yeah.
I just want you to get out of my little story, and I'll just be on my way.
But you got some sweet revenge though.
Well, that's where I have to thank you. When I was reading off about the detective, I'm like, is it Sebastian? Or something like that. And then suddenly when you typed in about, like, oh, JoJo, you're going to have to face JoJo. I'm like, oh, am I going to kill JoJo this time?
Yes,
and you're just like, yes, Piko, refill your destiny. It is time to end JoJo. And I'm like, oh, it's time. But yeah. In short words, I was really not a fan of the character. I was really happy it really ended, and for me to finally, in the final DLC, I can I say this word? Whoop his ass?
Yes. Yeah, that's one thing I forgot to tell you. During these interviews, language is not a problem. I ain't making this super PG, so if there's anything you need to say out loud, go ahead, because it is part of the interview. It's all good.
No, don't worry. I will definitely keep it PG, my good sir. But the only thing I will say for my statement is, I'm so glad I whooped JoJo's ass. So it brought me joy in my gamer heart. It gave me joy, a burst of happiness, of freedom.
Yeah, I think I remember telling you that you should totally just make like an edit of you being like super happy.
I will tell you, and I don't want to spoil this, but I did actually am in the middle of developing that. However,
yes.
In side note, out of Bloom, there has been a first commission video editing for someone that wants me to develop their special promo. But I don't want to spoil it. But I was going to say I was in the middle of developing JoJo of the fighting editing, so I really want to finish that up. But when my huge apologies on the pausing. When I had a random invite to someone, And this person was talking to me and just like, hey, I saw you on Instagram. I saw you editing some really cool stuff. And I know you've been sharing with me your other videos. And me and my guys, we were talking about it. And we feel like we want to offer you a commission to develop a special promo with your amazing skills. And I'm like, wow, I'm flattered. What kind of commission? What if I told you I can give you something special? I'm like, oh, is he becoming Godfather or something? I'm like, and I was really like, kind of a little bit like roaming my beard, and I'm like, is he becoming Godfather? Like one of those Godfathers that say, I give you offer, you cannot refuse. But in short, I did accept it. But in short, he did give me something in a reward for agreeing, and then to promise in my promised words to finish up this commission. So I will tell you that it's in the process. So I will tell you, just stay tuned on that. But overall, so besides that, yes, I was in the middle of developing the JoJo, but it's on hold, sadly.
Yes,
it will.
No worries, it will come. It will come.
It will come soon. I will give you my word. But anyway, yes.
Okay. Yes, well, that's good. We kind of divulged into that, but that's perfectly fine because this is what is part of the interview. So we had a connection over killing JoJo. So hashtag save JoJo.
Hashtag don't save JoJo. Hashtag ditch JoJo.
Okay, yeah. I was like, hey, people, comment in the comments. What team are you for?
Oh, God. Yeah, whatever you do, crowd people, please don't do hashtag JoJo. I mean, except for you, Provonix. You are more welcome to hashtag Team JoJo. I don't want to be a part of Team JoJo.
All right, yeah. So I'll just quickly remind that it's hashtag save JoJo or kill JoJo.
I would stick with the kill JoJo. Hashtag kill JoJo 2017. Booyah!
Okay, there we go. We're all good with that.
Oh yeah.
And I can hear the angry letters coming from Persephonix.
Piko, why do you hate JoJo so much?
No.
I know she doesn't say that. I know she doesn't sound like that, but it makes me so... I feel terrible for saying it, but I mean, still no, I can imagine the letters, but I know she will really kick me in the face for even mentioning how much I'm not a fan of JoJo. So I'm gonna keep my words away. I'm gonna forget about JoJo.
Yep. No worries. When you're streaming, do you find that you have to time yourself for how long you're going to stream? Because I know that a lot of people like to do in certain increments, like 2 hours, an hour, stuff like that. Do you find that it varies from game to game, or no?
I will tell you this, that what I learned from other people I met, and I normally asked them, like, what would be the best recording streaming than besides, record streaming like 6 hours, 4 hours, and that sort of thing. And I try my best to really do a professional kind of way for all streamers. And I know a lot of people can record way longer, like 8 hours, but that's a little bit far off from YouTube, sort of say. That's more like Twitch. But at the same time, when I was very new, I had no idea how to, how long should I stay on and play the game for streaming. And the series of the Resident Evil part, I actually streamed between 3 or 4 hours. And actually the final, the hard difficulty, it was almost close to nearly at 6 hours for the final.
I noticed that.
Yes, that was actually the final, which was the Madhouse mode. And my God, it took me too long with those two big guys in the cave. I gotta tell you, there was no way, no how I can get it done. There was no way, no how I can actually defeat them because I didn't have enough. I didn't have enough manpower to beat those guys. But except there was one thing, I just realized something in the ladders and the walls is that there were some bombs, and I'm just like, oh, that's it. All I need to do is knock out these big guys and then just run over the ladder and shoot everything I can and get up there. And my God, I did. I think I will actually finally attempt the final to get past them was at number 10 I believe.
Ooh.
Now, that may sound irony since this is the 10 episode and my 10 tries of the ladder, and it's like, it's a miracle. Yeah.
A lot of the coincidences during this one.
But I'm sorry. I was going to say there has been some news already about the DLCs, the 2 DLCs that already came out. And believe it or not, I was thinking to come back to Resident Evil 7 and finished it. Oh yeah. Because a lot of people were telling me that some other DLCs were so beyond interesting and so insane. I'm like, I'm in. Let me go ahead and buy this DLC. Let's go.
Let's go.
They'll bring it. I don't care if there's some crazy mole, monsters,
He's ready to go. As long as it's not JoJo, we're fine.
Yeah, besides JoJo, I hope there's never going to be a crossover with the Resident Evil series. Well, I mean, if there was an Easter egg. Oh, speaking of Easter eggs, I was not a fan of the Evil Within Easter eggs of the snail. That creeped me out. I don't know why, but it was so creepy. I don't know if I should say it, but may I or no?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So during the main game or even DLCs, I stumbled across 2 times of a particular snail. And first, it was odd. But the first one I discovered, I thought I heard someone moaning. And then I'm like, what the hell? And once I lift up the light, I just noticed there was something in front of me, and I wasn't sure what it was, and it's still moaning. And then I realized it was a snail that was moaning from the light. And it was shooting out hearts. And then at the very end, she was screaming, yeah. I'm like, what are you doing, developers? What did you decide to do this? This is freaking me out, man. It was freaking me out. I was speechless. I'm like, thanks for this Easter egg that I do not want or witness it. It makes me want to have a bleach right now.
Just like hearing that, I'm just like, it's like I never even noticed this, and now I'm hearing about it. I'm just like, what?
I mean, yeah, I was speechless. I don't know why the developers decided, lighting up the snails, making, moaning and screaming, yeah, during the game is going to be a cool idea. That was silly and creepy. And it makes me feel like, I feel like this is weird and I want to kill it.
Yeah, I have kind of agree with you on that. But it's just like, I'm just like thinking to myself, it's like, if I have some extra time, I'm gonna go find this. just for the heck of it, and then just like take clips of it, and then just go, this is what he was talking about. I'm scared too.
Yeah, I will probably be going back to my old clips and edit it, and probably just like do like a sad dramatic music with a white text saying Piko has never came back again.
Oh my. But yeah, it's always funny when they do that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So yes, quick thing. So I haven't really fully watched the rest of your stream because I had to go to work that night. Did you finish the Executioner DLC?
I did. It was actually 1 clip, and that was it. I thought it was longer. But during that final DLC, I would say I can't agree that it was very fun. I did not expect it to turn out to be like a first-person, fighting game, like a survival kind of fighting, kind of melee kind of type. And at first, it was like, okay, that looks cool. Like I can grab things, I could grind them. I can, well, not a different kind of word of grinding, more like meat grinding, sort of say. But yeah. I would say for the most part, for all the DLCs and even the game, I think it was worth playing it. And especially excited to try playing the sequel.
Yes.
Here soon.
Same here.
Yeah.
I feel the same. See, I actually just finished the Executioner DLC myself today, which is actually going to be going up tomorrow, well, actually, technically today, my time, technically going up, and then a week from this will be the interview going up. So,
That's a great deal. That's a win-win.
yeah, that's a really good deal. But yeah, I agree with you. I will. There was a bunch of moments in that where I had these things happen, and I'm not understanding why. I won't spoil it for anybody on that, but I'll just quickly say that one of the game mechanics was not working the way it should have, and I felt like I was being watched by the Illuminati or something because it was way too easy. so yeah, you guys will have to check that out. But no. So I do see that as we were talking about streaming and that, you seem to do a lot of let's see here. I see a lot of hashtag social chat. Now, I'm guessing that's because we were talking earlier about being very social and talking to people in the thing. So that's kind of a theme that you've taken with some of your streams?
Yeah, I just figured to let people know is that if they're looking for something to social chat, I just figured to let them know that if you're looking for a stream and you're looking for a social chat, come by. It's like the title's just right there, just open doors. But yeah, I just thought, I thought it would be a great idea, to let people to come in and to fully want to chat with a streamer, or like to share something like a topic during a different game, like what's your favorite food, or like have you ever went to a different country, or have you even tried going to this specific place during your vacation, etc. And I like that kind of thing. It's always fun.
She liked, yeah, as we were talking about earlier, we like to keep kind of the social aspect, especially with streaming, and kind of being welcoming, getting people in here and seeing how it is. I also see briefly, I see that you sometimes do just random funny moments, and I do see a lot of your edits on Twitter and all that, where I'm just like, oh, I really want to watch the full thing. Because I'm like, oh, what did you do there? How did that happen? And, wow, what's this? But no, it's just, yeah, I kind of get those kind of moments, especially when you put like certain clips and stuff out that kind of make it interesting, right? Especially with editing. Oh yeah. I think, yeah. I think I will ask about since these are really interesting thumbnails. I'd like to ask you about your Battlegrounds thumbnails, because there seems to be a story in each one.
Oh boy, I was not expecting anybody to be so interested of these thumbnails from Battlegrounds. Well, to be honest, I had a lot of hard thought of what the theme should look like for Battlegrounds. And to be honest, I mean, when I was playing the Battlegrounds, when I finally got my my graphics to fully upgraded for the 1060 graphics of GTX, and when I was playing it through, I was experiencing a lot of crazy things, from explosions to and that sort of thing. And that's where I'm like, in Players Unknown Battleground, there's always going to be explosions nearby, and I'm like, okay, I'll probably make a theme of a lot of explosions, make it look like it's Michael Bay style in thumbnail, with a lot of bunch of flare effects around it too, to make it look like everything's on fire and that sort of thing. So, which is always awesome.
And I'm noticing some of the faces are awesome.
Yeah, that's where the other thing, what really got me thinking really hard. In the beginning, I really thought if I should really reveal myself to the world with thumbnail, and then at the same time, it's like, I think nobody's going to be interested of some random dude with a goatee or whatnot to do something weird or interesting. And that's when I'm like, okay, maybe I should just do some random Photoshop of some basic game and just call it for the time being. And that's when I'm like, and that's when I kind of realized in a few months, I felt like I think I'm ready to open myself to do something cool.
Oh yeah.
And that's when I started commencing for testing OBS on the Fortnite Battle Royale. That was actually the first one, the first thumbnail I was creating. But I didn't do anything much, but basically doing a random pose, making myself look like I'm holding the glider of the parachute and just like shooting with a deagle at the same time, like someone's shooting at me. But and that's when I'm like, well, if that's the case, I think it might be worth it. And when I look back, and believe it or not, when I look back, there was actually about 330 views that just really honestly just went ahead and just looked it through. And I'm like, where did this all come from? Where did all these, people coming from? And I kind of noticed I was actually, well, I may be the first one to really bring up some really weird, interesting kind of thumbnail to myself and my odd face expression. And I'm like, well, if people are so like really interested of me in the thumbnail with some crazy Photoshop skills I got, I figured I'll give it a shot. And that's when I just went booming on the battlegrounds with all that cool effects and that sort of thing to make a Michael Bay style. But there was one thing I did want to be really careful was the chicken dinner icon. Now you probably saw a thumbnail of a KFC bucket with chicken.
Yes, and it was like, oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, and I kind of removed the Colonel Sanders kind of image and just put like a player to make it look like it's the logo of the pug player. But and that's when I kind of realized, like, have I went too far in the buckets of chicken? Because it's like it's chicken dinner. Once you win, you win chicken dinner. And I really thought, like, should I show off like the actual chicken dinner that shows chicken leg and then like the full chicken body that's roasted, or maybe like buckets of chicken and make it look like people want some buckets of chicken. And to win it.
Yeah, it's just really entertaining to look at, where I'm just like, you're like reaching out towards it's in some of the thumbnails. So I'm like, yeah, we all want that chicken dinner. We want that bad.
I think for most people, they probably, when they see the thumbnail, I'm like, I think someone's gonna feel sorry for me for really trying to get that chicken. With all this explosion and everything, it's like, can you give a guy a break and just give him the buckets of chicken?
Nah, we can't do that.
No, we can't. No, not in this pug world, you can't.
Nope.
No, siree, no.
No. What do you use for making thumbnails?
What I use for thumbnails is basically Photoshop. Mm-hmm. And I use Photoshop CS 5.1, and I use that program from well, luckily enough, I didn't have any Photoshop when I was younger, but I did experience it during, like, in school, high school, and I showed off my friends some funny jokes, like, and yeah, I was kind of okay-ish kind of high school student, but during my sophomore year, when I got to know it and learn it so more, and when I was checking out the guys, and there was one teacher, I'm kind of like not a fan of this teacher, because this teacher was so drill sergeant, like straight up, like when we go in the computer and just have a good time, have a good chat. I was saying this teacher comes in and just like, everybody sit down now, everybody sit down. I'm like, whoa, just all right, we're gonna take a seat. And that's when it got me really funny is, what if I took a picture of her, but I didn't have a photo at the time? Like, there was not much like special cell phones at the time. But I will say I did a special, like, there was one of those items like HD cameras laying around. So I took one and took a snap of her and then loaded it in the computer. And I did something so terribly, and I might regret it, but I mean, I felt bad about it. But hey, I was a young guy in high school. Sometimes high school people may make some little troubles, but hey, the teacher was meanie. That's all I gotta say. And sometimes it was always good to make a little poking funny over some interesting artwork of Photoshop effects. So basically, I turned my teacher into an angry bobblehead.
Ooh.
With a human form, and just trying to flip a finger. Well, basically like moving the finger and just looking up at people that are tall people. So we were thinking of her like the little angry bobble person.
Oh, well, that's interesting. We don't.
Yeah.
It's like, wouldn't that just kick the chicken if somebody just like watch it and just like, I remember you. Like,
oh
what?
God,
How'd you find?
No. I don't know how to respond to the point of if she discovered of anything, but luckily enough, I'm not revealing my name. But if she recognized my voice, oh dear God, I think she's gonna hunt me down good, and just until she finds justice. Just one of those Terminators, just like they will never stop. There will be a reason. I can just imagine my old teacher right now, my old computer teacher, just discovering, just like, I must find this Piko. He made fun of me. I will never be made fun of for being a bobblehead. Oh God, I think that
I can smell an image coming.
Oh God. Yeah. We're gonna imagine that, and we're gonna like definitely direct that movie. I could tell you what.
Oh my. Yeah, but I'm just like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen, people. It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, it's gonna definitely happen.
I guess we're gonna kind of go on to playlists. Do you find that every time you do a stream that you automatically add it to a certain playlist, or do you feel especially if you're starting a series, that you don't really make one yet?
That's a very good question. I never had a thought. Basically, I don't have any thoughts of the playlist, but also just maybe helping myself to make sure to, if I'm going to be doing some streaming for YouTube, and for people to really find what I've been playing and that sort of thing, I should maybe totally just make a playlist as a library and showing them like, what did I play and that sort of thing. And of course, a lot of people will sometimes definitely have a shot to take a look like an hour or two if they're really interested. But of course, in sad reality, none people will definitely watch an hour or two, just because they would feel like they rather want to be part of it. And, like for live and that sort of thing, and have a good time. But I would say for the most part, I sometimes like throw out my live stream clips and then just leave it there if anybody was interested. And of course, my future plan was to maybe really create some interesting edits that I did, which I actually I did one editing office so far. And yeah, I made a playlist called Editing Office. That's where I leave like editing videos for anybody or even someone. So I was hoping to get back to it and upload the ones I was actually playing with and just do some editing clips to it. So that was actually my future plan on list. But I did made one for someone, but they were two brothers and they called themselves Bradley Gaming. And I saw their content and everything. They were like young college guys, but at the same time, I kind of noticed some of them were married. So yeah. So I actually chuckled. I thought they were married, but no. Oh well, I mean, I thought they were college, but I didn't expect them to be married.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
See, since I know that you primarily do streams, do you worry about tags very much for your streams and stuff?
I don't have any worries or troubles with the tags, but I do my best to really match with the gaming, like, describing what kind of game it is. Like, is it going to be blood? Is it gory? Like when I watch the trailer of the game, it's like, oh, cool. It's like blood and gory, or, something so violent and that sort of thing. I sometimes put some little tags in there just to let people know, like, if, like this is like super gory kind of thing. So, yeah, I really have no troubles to it or any worries to it. I really just make sure to let people know, like, what kind of tags for the streaming can look like. You know, just to really make sure that the tags are updated, that sort of thing. Because I did actually made a mistake one time, and I kind of felt worried in the future if I ever did this again. Is like when I was playing Battlefield, and my previous one, I can't remember what was the previous one, but it didn't relate to the game that I was playing on. And a lot of people were just making. Somebody made a couple little jokes, and I looked back. I was like, "Oh no,
Oh, no.
I screwed up the tags. I forgot to change them." So that's where I'm like, "Oh no." Well, I'll never remember in the future, and always change your tags. So, yeah.
There you go. Sometimes when you stream a lot and stuff like that, and you kind of get into this niche where you kind of like you're like, oh yeah, it's set. There's nothing wrong with it, and then you realize later, like, oh, I didn't pay that much attention. Oh, I gotta fix it. But
right,
it happens. Yeah, it happens. It does.
But I will tell you, there was one thing that did worry me during my streaming was the promising of finishing the game. And there was one game I was hoping to finish that was so much close, but the Xbox One digital game, and I regret for purchasing on digital game, did not allow me to finish the game.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What game was that?
The game was Ghost Recon Wildland.
Oh, okay.
And of course, it was a big series. It was a way bigger series than any other games. I mean, like way bigger than Resident Evil on the series. It was even bigger than, well, of course, bigger than Prey for Xbox One. But yeah, until the next day when I was letting people know that I was going to play it, and then all of a sudden, out of bloom, when I was about to start and I thought everything was all normal, I noticed my game was not even starting the Xbox, and I'm like, oh, it maybe got glitchy. Maybe I'll go ahead and turn off and back. You know, like any other basic ITs, like, hey, did you try turn it off and turn it back on kind of types? And then suddenly it was doing the same thing. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, I got worried. I'm like, is this where I got to delete my game? And that's when I'm like, oh, if I got to delete this game, that means I have to start all over. And I have to let people know that this Piko has to start all over from scratch because the game decided to be broken. So sadly, I did that, and that got even worse. It got beyond worse, and the game decided to reject on re-downloading it.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was the biggest chunk of reject. I mean, like a huge chunk of regrets for purchasing on digital. So I would say for the most people that purchase on digital games, never do it. Just purchase the physical disc. Like seriously, for your own good, just definitely do it. Don't ever do digital, because if you do it, you might regret it.
I know, and there's a huge push for it lately. A lot of people do go digital because they don't really want to have discs. So you've been warned.
Yeah, you've been warned, but I won't regret on this part. But I'm actually gonna. I know this would be irony, but I'm actually planning to purchase a digital game, a Pug, on Xbox One, since it released.
Yes, I actually have that now. That's actually installed on my console.
Nice. So I haven't played it yet, but my friend of mine has told me that he got really struggling to it, and he said it was so different than the controls. It was like a nightmare. I would start cracking up of like, did you still play it okay? No.
Well, that's the thing too. I'm going to get used to that, and I might do. I had a poll. I'm waiting for the poll to finish, where I'm asking people if they want me to stream it or record it. So we'll see the results.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I hope for their decisions. We totally see both sides.
Oh yes. Well, you never know. We don't never know. Okay, so we are getting a decent chunk here, and I think that your poor laptop is probably angry at you right now.
Oh, it's not angry me just yet. I'm actually at 31% already, so.
Yeah! There you go. Okay, well then we're going to go for one final question.
All right.
Okay. Now, this is the typical one I like to end the episode with, and so it could be a lengthy answer if you want, or not. If you're going to give advice to somebody who's starting YouTube, either doing just regular videos or streaming, what advice would you give them?
I would say, for my experience, for when I start on streaming, I would say for the most part, I think you should get to recognize the streaming program that you're using and to understand it, and maybe research it a little bit more before you start it. Because when I made a couple of mistakes when I started as a new streaming, I would say for the most part is always check your settings to see if your computer or your laptop can actually run with a high quality recording broadcasting, just to let people see a nice little quality of your streaming. I would definitely make sure to research on your program what you're using, and hopefully it's working good for your first streaming. And as for the quality, like video and microphone, I would say for the most part is, if you don't want to see yourself, you're always welcome to use a quality microphone and just, be social with everybody if you don't want to see yourself, or, leave like a little picture, gifts or anything like that. I mean, as long as you do maybe one gift, you don't want to kill your broadcast. What I learned from my mistake was overflowing gifts is a bad no-no.
Ooh.
So, oh yeah.
What is it? Early 2000s. Ooh.
Yeah, that was a bad experience when I was testing it out for Overwatch livestream. So I will say, for my second opinion, is to basically take it easy on the gift. Maybe do one, nothing more. As for, let me see. I would say for the most part is just make sure to be yourself, never to feel like you're a different person. I mean, I can't really speak out for anybody that really wants to be like in a different character and that sort of thing. Like, I know most streamers has one of those kind of interesting, like, I'm in a different character, I'm not like myself. It may be okay, but I mean, don't too. Let's just say if you pretend you're be someone else, sort of say, but not like the character, like you have a different background story, like you're telling people you're cool and that sort of thing. Don't ever do that. Just just be you. For the most part, just be yourself, like who you really are, and just go through it. Because a lot of people don't want someone to be like a fake person that will give you lies about, because it will be very bad for your commentary and for the most part. And I will basically say, I'm very sorry, I just heard someone in a doorknob.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and just say, for the most part, is never to make like fake stories of yourself. Just make sure, if you really want to share about yourself, you're always welcome to. But if not, you could just say, hey, I'm Piko, and what you're doing with some games and that sort of thing, and you don't have to share about your life and that sort of thing. So I would say definitely keep it to yourself and just be yourself. Don't ever change who you are. And then finally, I know this may sound very silly at the same time, is just, always pay some good respects to your visitors, in the most part, really. Oh, and one final thing, I think you might agree with this, Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
If you're one of those streamers, if you really want to let people see your streams and you want to like effort about it, whatever you do not, and I will repeat this as a record, do not come into somebody's stream and try to paste your stream and saying, I'm playing this, come over here.
Oh, good.
Because you don't want...
God, yeah.
Yeah, because that is... To me, I will tell you, that will actually hurt your content so hard, because a lot of people will definitely mock your content. Either either you want to ignore it and pretend that that's nothing. I'm going to tell you this. It will definitely affect you, and a lot of people will just think your content is nothing. You're basically averting somebody else's stream, and that's like a major disrespect to the other streamer that's actually, doing his or her content. So, So I will definitely say, and my advice is to never self-advertise on someone's stream. Just to actually do your own social, which you can do your YouTube, you can do your Facebook, you can do your Twitter, you can even do your Instagram, or even, of course, Snapchat. Some people say Snapchat's a nice way to go, but to me, I'm like, I don't use Snapchat. I mean, for me, I use like the actual YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and let me see, and of course, Discord. Discord also supports on sharing your stream as well, because Discord does support. Let's just say there's other group communities for Discord that actually support streamers. So for small streamers, I would say definitely try that. That's where I'm basically am as well, for a small stream and a small content for YouTube.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly what Piko was saying. Is really the main points that a lot of people have said to me during these interviews. And there is one thing I do want to add, and I will add this now, is to have fun. Like, regardless of what you're doing, have fun with it, because believe me, you'll know it, the viewers will know it, if you're not. Because if it looks like you're just sitting there twiddling your thumbs, doing a boss fight, and you're not enjoying yourself, not enjoying the challenge, and you're just getting fed up and angry and just not seem like you're having a good time, people will see it. It makes it harder on you and harder on the viewers. So if you can have fun above all else, do that. If you can't play a challenging level at some time, that's fine. Focus on, like, if you have to change games to kind of cool down, that's fine. Just let your viewers know, let everybody else know, and then go back to it, because believe me, you'll be better for it, your viewers will be better for it, and you'll be much happier in the end.
And yes, that's where I'm also agreeing. Always have fun. And don't feel struggle streaming. That would just... It may be bad at the most part, but just a knowing that, of course, some games will be challenging, but just a knowing that don't really be fully, like, struggled and mad or something like that. Just have a great time, and knowing that you're time with the community as well, like your actual streaming community.
Oh yeah, that's usually the way it is. Yep. Okay. Well, I think that's going to be a wrap up for us. I'd like to thank Piko for sitting down and doing this interview with me right at work, actually.
Well, I'm very glad to be invited to your interview, and yes, I wish I was home doing this, but instead I have to work on something very important in real life. But overall, I'm very glad to catch up the time, and I figured to really catch up to it. So again, I really thank you for inviting me, and I had a lot of fun on your questions, which was very good, and it felt very great to know that you and I have that little sharing, common of the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So it's great to know that there is another Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, that childhood loving of that game, so which is awesome.
And we also share our love in hating JoJo. Sorry for
yes, exactly. Same to that too. So,
yes. All right. Okay. Well, I'm just going to say my ending off thing that I usually say at the end of all my videos, and this Canadian here is rooting for your bacon. See you later, guys.